Near the beginning of God of War 2, Kratos is killed by Zeus and forms an alliance with the Titan Gaia. Near the end of God of War Ragnarok, Freya asks Kratos to be the general who leads her and the rest of the warriors against Odin into battle. A question which he initially refuses, but eventually changes his mind to and agrees. Essentially, these are the same situations. A victim of the ruler of gods has come to Kratos and asked him to fight for them, a fight in which he has a personal stake in it because it directly affects him and his family. Yet, despite these situations being so similar, they're treated narratively like opposites. The choice to work with Gaia ultimately results in Kratos killing her because she betrays him.
Kratos, do I mean nothing to you?
You were a means to an end, Gaia. Nothing more.
And then he still has to take down Zeus regardless. With Freya, narratively Kratos working as their general gives us the exact opposite answer. Relying on other people is his strength, and the correct decision. Kratos learning from his past and overcoming it, like with Gaia, not only proves that he's a different person, but also that he's a better person than before.
Take Atreus in the mask and do not look back. My son trusts you, so I trust you.
Throughout God of War Ragnarok, Kratos and Atreus are separated constantly, and Kratos finds that when he's separated from his son, he slips into his old habits. He becomes the monster that he so despises now. He becomes the god of war. And when Atreus is around Kratos, he becomes more stable. He grounds him. Atreus is a child, a person in need of guidance, growth, and to be taught. He needs Kratos, and Kratos needs Atreus. Despite being so similar, the situation with Gaia and with Freya present us with two different answers of what is right. How is this possible? It's no secret that the original God of War trilogy is about a broken man. Kratos is very open about the fact that he wants to kill himself. The original trilogy is pretty one-dimensional with his characters. Kratos is either angry or sad or somewhere in between that.
Oh, not again.
And every other character is just doing their job or out for their own interests. Funnily enough, the original trilogy has more characters who are out to trick and lie to Kratos. But in the modern games, everyone pretty much shoots it straight with him. Except for the one obvious example, pretty much everyone in the modern games is open and honest with Kratos and Atreus. Why is that? Zeus is truthful while Odin uses trickery and subterfuge. The Greek pantheon lies and deceives, while the Norse people open their hearts to Kratos and Atreus. This isn't a matter of the Greeks having more stories of deceit. Both mythologies are full of stories of trickery. What has changed, though, is Kratos. It doesn't take a detective to see that Kratos has changed dramatically from God of War 3 to God of War 2018. He wants to move on from his past self and take care of his son. Though, there's one problem with that. Kratos wants to move past the original trilogy without ever actually processing any of it. Throughout 2018, we see Kratos struggling to connect with Atreus, exemplified by the fact that he calls his son Boy. Never by his real name. Not only that, we see him time and time again reject any aspects of his past, to the point where he refuses to use the Blades of Chaos and instead uses his axe. What Kratos has to learn is that by never acknowledging his past, he can never truly move forward. Only by acknowledging the mistakes of his past, so that he can never make them again, can he truly move on. It's a simple but hard lesson to learn. One of the biggest changes in Kratos, though, is his compassion for others. Though it's hard to even call it that, especially for the blood-stained God of War, the difference in how Kratos treats people is like night and day. In the original God of War games, slaughtering innocent people is just part of the action. It's a natural course of war. When Kratos kills an innocent person, it's fine. When he tortures a boat captain for fun, it's funny.
Thank you! Thank the gods you came back for me!
I didn't come back for you.
No!
When he destroys Greece in his quest for revenge, it's epic. In the modern God of War games, Kratos is much more caring and understanding of people. Not only to turn a new leaf, but also in the course of raising his son, he's learned that he has to be. Raising Atreus has forced Kratos to become empathetic to the plights of people who aren't like him. You know, people who function fundamentally differently than he does. In the end of Ragnarok, Kratos tells his son to not close his heart off to the world, and to embrace the person that he is. This is the culmination of that arc, to show that Kratos can truly care for others and see beyond himself.
Listen closely. You feel their pain because that is who you are. And you must never sacrifice that. Never. Not for anyone. I was wrong, Atreus.
One of the reasons that people are able to connect with the new Kratos more is because he is more open with them. Granted, Kratos is not an open book, but it's clear to the people around him that he's making an effort and at least trying. Contrast this with the Kratos of earlier games, a man who was out only for himself and didn't care who or what he destroyed in his path. A man who used people as literal, physical tools. Kratos saw everyone and everything as tools or obstacles, and in return, everyone else saw him in the same way. The new Kratos sees people as complex beings with their own agency and feelings, and treats them accordingly, and they also offer him that exact same respect. So, did the God of War games just boil down to treat other people the way you want to be treated? Has this series been the most convoluted way to express the golden rule? You tell me. By subscribing. Throughout the original series and the new series, Kratos has changed significantly, becoming a much more nuanced and engaging character. However, one part of him that doesn't change whatsoever is his single-minded drive. Throughout the original series, Kratos is focused on one thing: revenge. In the new series, Kratos has many different reasons for doing the different things that he does. Like in real life, things are complicated, feelings are complicated, but with Kratos, his main goal never changes. Like many parents, his main goal is to protect his child at all costs, which is why the ending of God of War Ragnarok is so good. It solidifies the fact that Kratos is still a soldier, a warrior, a man crafted by the gods to become the ultimate killing machine. But more than that, he's a father. If you ask any parent what their biggest fear is, the answer is outliving their own child. And a good parent will want to see their child thrive and succeed to eventually become their own person, which is exactly what Atreus does. He can stand on his own 2 feet and have his own adventures, because he does not need Kratos anymore. And then, Kratos reads the back of the prophecy. In the original series, Kratos fights for what he believes he wants: revenge. Revenge on Ares, revenge on Zeus, etc. And, like most stories about revenge, it ends up leaving him just as unfulfilled and as broken as before, maybe even more so. In the modern series, he fights for his son to protect him, and in both cases, Kratos isn't fighting for what he truly wants, which is what exactly? Kratos isn't a man known for self-reflection or actualization. As a warrior, he was trained to leave those things behind, as they would only hamper him on the battlefield. Kratos was designed to be the ultimate warrior, the greatest weapon. These things were programmed into him. It's hard to fight against things you feel are part of your nature, that you feel are unchanging. When Kratos tells Atreus goodbye, he is done. Like many parents, sending their children off into the world as adults, they spend all of their time and energy on this one thing for so long, and then all of a sudden, it's just gone. Just like that. If you ask someone what the goal for a person with children should be, the answer is to raise them well. As many parents feel like that's their sole duty, so much so that when their children eventually do leave, it's almost like, what now? For a warrior, what use is a sword that's already slayed its enemy? But that's not how life works. Parents don't just cease to exist after their children are gone. When Kratos opens up the prophecy, he sees a vision of the world in which he is praised, and he wants that. Kratos wants to be loved by people. He actually is something he wants to do for himself. Not for his family, not for revenge, but simply because he wants it. At this moment, Kratos has taken his needs into account, and he is self-actualizing and seeing a vision of a world that he never would have even imagined. Kratos isn't a weapon, or a tool of war, or a pawn of the gods. At this moment, he is a normal man with desires. The ultimate victory Kratos can have over Ares and Zeus and all the other gods is not by killing them, it's by evolving past them, by no longer being bound by them. Every second of Kratos' life was designing him to be a warrior, the best warrior. One who, if the gods had succeeded, would have worked for them as a tool. By existing outside the world that was created for him all that years ago, that designed him to become exactly what they wanted, even after their deaths, Kratos is one. They no longer have any bearing on his actions anymore. Kratos is finally free from the shackles placed upon him at his birth by the society and world that he lived in, and he can finally be his own person. He is not the god of war, a general, a weapon, or the god killer. At this moment, he is simply a man. A free man, unbound by his past and the ghosts that once haunted him. He is simply Kratos. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Comment what you thought, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye!